I'm back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today this is my Isle of Armor review. Now, if you guys don't know what Isle of Armor is the part 1 of the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC. Now, this is Game Freak / Pokemon / Nintendo's first time doing DLC for Pokemon. I think one of the best parts of doing DLC is cheaperness. Obviously, we don't have to pay for a third game. That's just proved on all the faults of the first games of the region. So that's kind of what the DLC has done. It actually does prove while it's still being the game. I think a lot of people, one of the biggest complaints about Sword and Shield is how the paths are very linear. There's no exploring. I think a lot of people complain about that. And pretty much most Pokemon games, there's just not a lot of exploration or choosing. It's a lot of hand-holding. And I don't really have necessarily a problem with that. It's not one of the biggest. I don't really have a huge problem with that. But I do agree that the exploration of I would like exploration. Seeing interesting stuff. I would like a linear story. But if you can go off paths and explore, definitely I would explore maybe in the after game. It's not something I would do right there and then, but obviously I think definitely the Isle of Armor improved that because it is just a huge wild area. Now, wild area is also a new introduction in Sword and Shield, which is just a expanse area where you could explore and find Pokemon. And the problem with the wild area in Sword and Shield is just that it is big, but it's just open. Like, there's no caves or nothing like that, which is not necessary. A lot of this I don't really care, because a lot of in the previous games, caves and all that were really bad, like really bad. But in these games, caves are actually just fine, because it's not like you can. It's no longer where you walk through a cave and get hit by Pokemon, because caves now are mostly just are just overworld spawns, I think, now, if I recall correctly, because I don't remember ever being hit by a Pokemon that wasn't an overworld spawn within the cave. I think that's much better, because it's so annoying when trying to go through a very long cave, and you just keep hitting by Pokemon that you just have to buy repels. And I really don't want to buy repels. I would like to save this for something else, but the money that you get from battles for something else. And so caves are interesting to actually explore because they're actually cool, as long as you don't get hit by Pokemon. Which is part of the overall spawns, that they're pretty much everywhere, so it's really hard to dodge them in some cases. Like, some just pop up and you don't even notice it, and boom, you're into a Pokemon battle. But overall, yeah, it's the wild area of the Isle of Armor, because it's all wild area, it is much better. I think it improved on the wild area in the Galar, just specifically the Galar region overall. And you can explore because there's caves, there's no linear path, and all that. I think that's one of the best improvements with this. Obviously, it's not within the actual Galar region. It is an island that's off the region, but overall, it is good to explore and interesting. Now, I don't know. My problem, it's not a fault of the game, but mostly I actually get motion sickness. And I didn't expect to get motion sickness from playing the Isle of Armor, but I did. I only usually get motion sickness in Minecraft games. But yeah, I got motion sickness playing that. But that's not a fault of the game. That's just, I don't know, whatever. It's me. But other than that, like I said, that's big improvement, better. Story-wise, I enjoyed this story. It's a good story. However, briefly, but that briefness I can't really complain that is a fault, because it is the first DLC. It's the first time they're doing DLC, and so I'm okay with that because they're just testing the waters with part 1, and part 2 is just going to, be big. So that I don't have a problem with it being small. My first problem, I think there's a total of 3 problems. First problem, Avery. Now this is just a shield problem, which I own. If you get the Isle of Armor DLC, do it for sword, not shield. I cannot stand Avery. I can't. I can't stand the character Avery. He's annoying. He's rude. So much things like it just I can't. I wish he did not exist. It is bad. He's a bad character. He's badly designed. He's just story-wise. He's just the way they wrote the lines for the character. It's just all bad. It's just bad. I can't stand him. I've been playing this 3 times. Or actually more than that. I played it in my actual Switch account, my first account, to get their seafood. Then I played it. I played it in my third account. I played it again to get a Cub Fu, so that I can have the entire line. So for that I keep the idea that I have every single Pokemon going, and then I'm playing it again now in my second account to get the second form of Urshifu, and it's and the Gmax form for it as well. And then I've done other, and with the third count I've restarted it and played it several times to get some other things, and I have to say, Avery, I just can't stand him. I've played it so many times, and the more I played, the more I can't stand the character. But other than that, that's probably my biggest problem. Next problem, Pokemon. The lack of new Pokemon. I think that's lame. Honestly, it has nothing to do with the fact that this is the first time DLC. They could have done more Pokemon. There's no excuse for that. I think that's lame. And, they added past Pokemon. Mostly because I think by default they were always going to do that after announcing that they're not going to put all the Pokemon Sword and Shield. They do have a limit, a time before they can release the games, right? And the more they add Pokemon, the harder it's going to program all of them in, I think, overall. And so that's why they said that they're not going to program all the Pokemon, and they're just going to use the DLC to put them back in, because then they have, now we have more time to do that as an addition. So that's what they're doing, and overall, yeah, they do, but they only added 2 Pokemon and 2 new forms of Pokemon, but technically only 1 new form of Pokemon, because technically Galarian form Slowpoke, you could get it before the DLC came out, as in an update. When we first got announced of the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, they did an update where we can meet Avery and find out about the Isle of Armor, and then catch a Galarian Slowpoke before going there. So it's technically only 1 form, but Galarian Slowbro. So I'm hoping that Tundra is going to expand on that, but with the data mine, I don't think that's happening. I think there's maybe 5 new Pokemon and some new forms, but that's about it. Nothing like regular Pokemon wise, I think, which is a real disappointment. I think they should have added more Pokemon. There are 2 specifically areas. You don't think there would be regular Pokemon, new regular Pokemon in those two areas. I think there would be, especially in real life, if this was real life, there would have been animals there, different animals that aren't specifically here, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but it is what it is. I can't really do anything about that. And I think the third problem, I just the Pokemon following you. I'm not a huge deal as much as other people are, but I can see why this is a problem. If you look when Pokemon following was first introduced, and I think it's the original Johto games, not the they're in the remakes. I wasn't sure if it was an introduction just in the remakes or the original, but I think it is in the originals. Gold and Silver, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and then Pokemon Let's Go as well. All of them had Pokemon following you, and they don't, they actually stay behind you. Like, they don't just try to keep up with you, and then when they can't keep up with you, they disappear and then teleport right in back of you. No. They didn't do that. And I think it's just better if they just did follow you right behind you and doing that. I know Game Freak was trying to do, I think what they were trying to do in the Isle Armor is do a more realistic where Pokemon would just actually follow you, and not just kind of float behind you. Is I think what they wanted to do, but I think they failed. It just doesn't look good, because people want the Pokemon to stay right behind them. They don't want them trying to keep up with them. It's not what we wanted. That's not what we expect to come from Pokemon following you. That's why it's okay if it just hovers behind us, to be honest. I think a lot of people wouldn't complain if it did just follow us, float behind us, okay? Because it just looks way better than in the Isle of Armor. And another problem is, items, Pokemon, all that can transfer to the main Galar region, but Pokemon following you can't. It just stayed on the island. I think that's dumb. That's lame. That's stupid. Why does it only happen on the Isle of Armor? It really doesn't make any sense. There's no real mechanic. There's not anything that allows the Pokemon to follow you. There's not some thing that follows you above there. This allows that Pokemon to come out as Pokemon and follow you. There's nothing there. So I think that they could have just programmed so they could do it everywhere. Hopefully the Tundra can improve on that. Overall, I think I really did enjoy the DLC for Part 1 for what it is. It has its faults, but you can enjoy it, especially in Sword. I definitely enjoy it more. And overall, the story is cool, and exploring the island is really cool, and cool, and seeing stuff like that, seeing all the different things you can see overall. So, if I was going to give it a rating, maybe 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10, something like that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you are new, subscribe and hit the notification button so you're notified from the next upload. My YouTube channel, website link, as well as my Twitter is down in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.